Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. We like to share that we're located on the land of the Eastern Cherokee and Southern Iroquois. So it's good to be here and to be with you. My name is Crain. I am your worship associate today. I am a tall woman with short gray hair. I am wearing a dress that some, like Gordon, might say looks like a drop cloth from painting something white. but you might say that because I was a part of the Habitat for Humanity team.
My name is Dagny. I'm just gonna spell it out because the name's kind of.
Pretend like it's an ice cream.
Why?
Dagny.
Oh, okay, so that. My name is spelled D-A. I like doing art and physics and science stuff a lot.
You're in the right place, Dagny. Thank you. Aurelia, thanks for bringing her. Any other visitors? For everybody, after the service, we gather for coffee and social connection in the social room. Please join us. And if you are interested in getting our weekly newsletter so you can get connected to our community, our weekly sharing of joys and concerns, and our collective efforts to support local social justice work, please reach out to the office by email and you can receive that in your email. So speaking of social action, today after the service in this very room, you are invited to attend the social action meeting here at noon. So you can come to hear presentations about the different activities that are going on for the social action work of the fellowship. UU&U will be on August 31st. There's an opportunity for visitors who are interested in exploring deeper connections with UU with an hour-long conversation in the UUFC library. So respond by emailing UUFC, and the contact is Karen York. There she is. Welcome back, Karen. And we're just exuberant to share. I saw some of you looking up at the roof as you came in. The UUFC solar project team has been quite busy over this past summer. I am so excited to share that a bid has been awarded to Earthwave Renewables to install the solar panels and battery backup on our rooftop. That will allow us to not only have solar power, but also to be a resiliency center, okay? The roof shingles have been replaced where the panels will be installed. We are in the permitting process now, and we expect to have it up and running, anybody want to guess? 6 weeks, 6 weeks. We are so grateful for grants from UUA Green Sanctuary, where we will receive $400, and South Carolina Interfaith Power and Light, who will be providing $300. If you have any questions or want more details, there's Dave in his tie-dye t-shirt, or you can reach out to Modi. 2 days ago, I registered for the Scooja Fall Festival. It's the first Saturday in October, so registration is open, and it will be held at the UU Church in Columbia. Before I turn this over to you, Reverend Holly, I just want to point out how beautiful this pulpit is. I've been a member here for many, many, many years, and I've done so many water ceremonies like we're going to do today. They're so special to me. It's tradition. And I just want to point out the pieces of history that are on this pulpit. So this beautiful ceramic bowl, the big one, was a gift from our last settled minister, Reverend Terry Bailoff. And our singing bowl was a gift from the interim minister before Reverend Bailoff, from Reverend Alex Holt. So it's nice to have that together with our tradition. Thank you, Reverend Holt.
Thank you. And I know before service, I didn't get to check my mic, so can everybody hear me okay? Awesome, thank you. And One of the reasons why we do things like Kathy's visual description or my making sure you can hear us on the mic is so that it's accessible for as many people as possible that might have visual impairments or hearing impairments. And we also have some headphones and little battery packs that can help if you have any hearing difficulties. And I want to mention that it's really helpful if you make sure you turn it off so that it has the power to be available for someone the following week. Yes, turn it off when you return it, not while you're using it. To be clear, yes, thank you. So, I'm the Reverend Holly Brown. My pronouns are they, them. I'm the settled minister here at UUFC, and I'm a short, non-binary person with dark hair, wearing glasses, and a blue stole that you can see. So, I want to offer these as our welcoming words by the Reverend Leslie Takahashi. We gather as many drops, each winding our own path down life's surfaces and ruts. Here, we pull together as a single body, flowing together for a time. Together, we are a stream and at times even a river. For with our shared force, we can travel towards oceans of meaning and seas of connection. And in the spirit of worshiping together as well as coming together in those seas, I invite you to rise in body, mind, or spirit wherever you are to join in singing number 1064 in the teal hymnal or on the screens, Blue Boat Home.
Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. We'd like to invite you to read the chalice lighting and words of affirmation, which are
box, right? This is only but the third time we're doing this, so it's one of our backpack tags. Ooh. Cody, you want to come? Aurelia, you want to come too? You're going to come open the box for us and tell us what's in there.
Yes.
Can we get a drum roll maybe? All right, go ahead, open it up. Let's see what's in there.
Good.
Oop, he just lost an eyeball too. It's a bucket.
Good.
And what do you think this is? A rat? Well, if you hold him that way, he kind of looks like a rat. But if you hold him this way, he looks more like a raindrop. Can we put the box on the floor over here, please? And put the bucket on the table, please. But he's no ordinary little drop of water. He's a drop of water that has a dream. And Higgins lived in a valley that had once been very beautiful, but it hadn't had any rain for a very, very, very long time. So all the grass had turned brown, and all the flowers had wilted, and even the trees were starting to droop a little. But Higgins had a dream that that valley could be beautiful again one day. But the problem was, what could he do? He was only one little drop of water. So he decided he was going to travel around and talk to all the other little drops of water and tell them about his dream. And when he did this, they all listened very politely, but none of them believed that his dream could ever come true.
Higgins once said, "Get your head out of the clouds. You can't spend your whole life dreaming."
But Higgins decided that he was going, can you just hang on to Higgins for me? He decided that he was going to make his dream come true somehow. So he started to walk and think and walk and think and walk and think. And while he was walking, he came across a rusty old bucket. And that gave him an idea. He thought to himself, I'll bet if a bunch of us got into this bucket and we could fill it up, there would be enough water in that bucket that we could at least sprinkle a few flowers and they might bloom again. So he decided he was going to go and tell everybody about his great idea. But once again, they didn't think he had such a great idea.
That Higgins is...
I'm getting into that bucket, and I hope that some of you will join me too. Then there might be enough water. And Higgins was very lonely there in that bucket for a while, and it didn't seem like anyone noticed just how dry the grass was getting. Joined the bucket. Then 30, then 50, and then hundreds. Hundreds of drops in the bucket. Soon that bucket was full of drops that wanted to join in, so they got another bucket, and they filled that bucket up. So they had 2 buckets full of water, and then 3, and then 4, and then 10, and then hundreds, and then thousands. But then along came a powerful breeze and knocked all those buckets of water over to make a mighty stream. And everywhere that water flowed, the grass grew green again, the flowers bloomed again, and even the trees stood straight and tall again. And all of this happened because Higgins had been a drop with a dream, and that dream had come true. Because he knew that even though he was just a drop in the bucket, Enough drops in the bucket make a bucket full. And when there are enough buckets with the wind behind them, then justice will roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream.
Thanks. Will y'all help me? He lost his eyeball. Yep. I know. Yeah.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I neglected to welcome, with our welcome this morning, I neglected to welcome our friends online. So thank you for being with us. This is the time we set aside for offering in order to give toward the financial vitality of this community. Also, 25% of the undesignated collection each week goes to an organization in the local community with whom we partner. Speaking of Habitat for Humanity, for the month of August, we are partnering with Pickens County Habitat for Humanity. Each week, we also collect non-perishable food for the Clemson Community Cares Food Bank. You may also give by going to the UUFC website and using the donate button. There you'll see options for paying your pledge and donating toward the organizations with whom we partner. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you for your generosity. And each week, we also have a time set aside for what I like to call generosity of the Spirit, a sharing of our joys and concerns, knowing that we are part in this bowl representing our community, a shared vessel together. And books for education, and they successfully met to rehab her broken leg. Have a concern from Karen since Thursday evening, and we're hoping for her return. Have a concern from Audrey Lanford that the Rainbow Crosswalk that stood as a memorial to the Pulse nightclub shooting has been covered up in Florida for political reasons. And Audrey shares on behalf of Claire Oswald that Claire's mother is facing some major health problems, diagnosis pending, but the outlook is not good. We hold Claire in our hearts. See, I have a note from Sarah and John Hoskin, Chief Lamar Nelson of the Eastern Cherokee and Southern Iroquois United Tribes, joyously received the honor of his tribe's official state recognition as a state tribe this week. Yes. I know when he came and spoke to us, that is something they were struggling and working towards. And there's more that this will enable the tribe to qualify for federal funding for the state and the tribe. Nelson visited our congregation in 2023. He is an accomplished archaeologist and champion for his people. And we have a joy from Cody, something that was mentioned earlier, that last Sunday was her birthday. I want to add a joy to the solar project folks and all of the work they have done to get us to where we are, as the announcement stated earlier. And I also want to thank all of our worship associates, offer a joy for our worship associates for spending 3 hours with me yesterday afternoon, and then a number of them still being here today. And offer one final stone for all of those joys and concerns that remain quiet and tender upon our hearts this morning. Thank you, Kathy. Now, we, as Unitarian Universalist, don't do this thing called responsive readings too often. We read our affirmation together each week, but we're going to have a responsive reading this morning. There's only one thing y'all have to say, and it's written in your order of service, and it says, "Water makes its mark." So I'm going to read a statement. I'm going to pause, kind of lift my hand as a cue for you to say, "Water makes its mark." It's super simple. All right. As long as I remember to lift my hand, right? So a glass of tea sweats a circle of droplets on an old wood table. Drying, they pull the dirt and stain from the wood, leaving a ring. Deep in the earth, in a cave, a drop falls each minute. Where it lands, a great pillar of white rock has grown up. On the surface, above, a stream burbles and flows, carving out potholes in granite of its bed. Along a highway cut, geologists point out layers of tan slate, each penny-thin sheet, a memory of a torrential rainstorm eons ago. In its network of veins, the blood, salty like the sea water from which we sprang, flows on in cycles giving life. The dark clouds pass on, yielding no rain. Crops wither and droughts come. Famine, migration, violence, and death follow. A space probe turns its camera from whence it came, imagining one solitary pixel of life, the color of pale blue of oceans. A solitary tear slides down a cheek, a tear of building, abiding joy, a tear of unending grief. We see and share the depth of feeling as its true core. Water makes its mark, and so do we. And who was here for water communion last year? A handful of you? Yeah. So you might remember we did an activity, a kind of meditation, but a movement involved meditation. And it's of creating a storm. And sometimes that storm is made by us, and sometimes, do any of y'all remember me holding this up last year? It's got this drum tied on one side and these little teeny ball bearings in it. What does that sound like? I'm sorry? Hail. Okay. Yeah. On the mic, it does kind of sound loud, doesn't it? But depending on how fast you move it, it might sound like rushing water. It might sound like a rainstorm. Or again, if I move it really fast over the mic, it might sound like hail. And I need a couple of helpers, maybe our young folks. We have some maracas here, and I want you to shake them and see if they sound alike. Can you all do that for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we grab the
You can if you want. Yeah. All right. Now, if each of you shake it just at one time, shake one. Okay. All right. Do they sound the same? No, because they're different shapes. Some of them have different things in them. But if we were to shake them all at one time, it makes a lot more noise, right? And that change and combination of sounds gives it a depth, right? And so when we make this rainstorm together in just a minute, now y'all can do either help with the rainstorm, or if you want to occasionally shake a maraca, that's okay too. But otherwise, we can put the maracas back in the basket here. And then I'm going to ask Kathy and Karen, and if y'all want to help, you can too. We're going to make a rainstorm together. So as we start, we're going to do this. Okay? Now, that doesn't make a tremendous amount of noise. If y'all can stop for a second. Do y'all hear just me? What if I do it right next to my mic? It doesn't make much noise. But if we all do it, y'all heard that. It made some noise, right? So then, what about a snap? Not everybody can snap or snap well, and that's okay. Or you might be able to snap with one hand, but not the other. That's okay. So in a little bit, we're going to have an opportunity to snap. And when it's just one person, you can hear it, depending on how well we snap. But then if we all do it at the same time, it kind of starts to sound like heavy raindrops. And then we'll move to patting our legs. And then we'll speed up patting our legs, and it'll sound heavier. Okay, and then finally, the last piece, making the sound of thunder that rumbles and resonates. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start over here, and Karen's gonna help, and Emily's gonna it's a sound. Because y'all know that storms don't just happen in one spot, right? Sometimes there's bands with little pieces of pop-up thunderstorms here, or you might ride through one area. I was riding back from Greenville on Thursday and was in a torrential downpour and then ran out of it, and then it caught up with me, and then I got out of it, and it caught up with me again. So rain can come in many different ways. We can hear it as we work together in community. We can create more change, more difference in the world when we work together. So, before we go into this ritual, I want to explain what it is, why we do it. Now, who's here is familiar with the concept of water communion or in-gathering services? Okay. Well, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I'm sure that means there's some people that haven't ever been to one before and might not know the background of that. So every year, almost every UU congregation across our nation, we have about 1,000 congregations, and sometime between the beginning of August and the end of September, all of those congregations will hold what they call water communion, water ceremony, or in-gathering. It represents a coming back together. The idea is that we take breaks over summer, we go on vacation, we might not be here as often, and that we come back together at the beginning of what's often called the church year. We're here at UUFC at the beginning of our fellowship year with our cycle of starting our Soul Matters themes for worship and covenant groups. And our religious education classes will start back up at the beginning of September, or in September. Beginning of September. And each year, this happens by pouring water, sometimes placing stones in water. Sometimes the water represents different things. I went to a UU congregation in Columbus, Ohio, that at the time had around 700 members. Can you imagine the chaos that would ensue of getting 700 people up to pour their water? So they had stations set up, and they had people come up based on a particular thing they wanted to hold, whether it was a loss or a joy or something else going on in their lives. I don't remember the station's topics per se. It's been a few years now. But this idea of water communion started at a women's retreat in the 1980s. The idea was that each of the women brought water from wherever they were in the country and poured it together as a symbolic representation of them coming together at this retreat. But it has grown and become something that many of us celebrate. And so over the next several minutes, we're going to invite people to come forward and pour their water, and everybody can participate, whether you brought water or not, or if you need somebody to bring it forward for you and pour it on your behalf. We have that option. And our folks in the social hall, I hope you'll come forward if you're willing and able to do so. So, a little bit of logistics first. We're going to start in the back over here, and then the back folks in a moment will start to come forward, and each row, Kathy will kind of help make sure your row moves forward. As you come and pour your water, you'll then go back down the other aisle to the back of the room again. And then once Wanda and Garrett, here we go, are finished, then Alan and Martha and Jackie will come forward, and then each row will come forward, and you'll go back down that row and back to your seat. And then we'll start in the back over here and come around the back, pour your water, and then go back to your seats. So, and we'll end up here at the front. And Cory's gonna play some instrumental music for us as we move around. And I'm gonna start by, oh, I meant to note, sorry, important note. This bowl has water from past years' water communions. Every year, since I've been here at least, and some before that, the water, a portion of it, is saved. Now, we purify it, so like we boil it and filter it, because we also can use this for child dedications. And we don't want anything icky left in there, but there is water from the last years in here. And our water we bring with us from wherever it is, representing whatever we bring with us, can be added to this bowl, or again, your symbolic water being added. And I add some water for our folks that are watching from home or are not able to be here with us today. This bowl is so much fuller than it was when we started. Because of all of you adding not just the waters you brought today, but maybe water you brought last year, or those that aren't with us here today may have contributed. This water is kind of like our living tradition. It connects the past with the present, and because we'll keep some of this water today, it will connect to the future. There might be different people that are involved from year to year, some in school or traveling, or just simply not able to be here for whatever reason. So having an opportunity to come together representing a ritual that isn't just shared with us here, but is shared with Unitarian Universalists across the country, starting in the 1980s. What a through line, what a continuation of part of our larger faith tradition, moving us into this moment. I think this is one of our more beautiful rituals that we do every year. And it varies, like I said a moment ago, depending on the size of the congregation, depending on the focus of the remainder of the service. But the one thing that remains constant is water makes its mark. Water has the power to transform. Water impacts all aspects of our lives: the food we eat, the water we drink, the clothes we wear, the flora and fauna around us. We as individuals are even made up by about 60% water. All we do, all of the things we do in the world, our hobbies, like that knitting that's happening, our justice work that we do. Maybe you've been out to a protest and had somebody bring you a much needed cup of or bottle of water, and especially in this heat, right? So it's a representation of us being part of something bigger, that blue boat home, because we are on this earth together. We are connected, that interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part of, is an important way to understand this collectiveness when it comes together. The reverse is true. Water is also impacted by us, sometimes in good ways, sometimes in not so great ways with climate change and things that get dumped into the water. But water continues to make its mark. I want to lift up that it's been almost a year since Hurricane Helene hit this area. Those to the north of us in western North Carolina were tremendously impacted by the destructive forces of water, with homes lost and lives lost. It still makes its mark on communities around us, loved ones that have had their lives and their communities changed. Recent flooding in Texas that took lives. There is an ongoing pain that comes from the destructive force of water. And like Higgins, a drop with a dream, sometimes in the midst of drought in the midst of that dying of nature, water can come along and help nourish it and replenish us. Both things are true. The both and, the beauty and power of water to give life as well as take it. Without water, we would not be able to exist. And the impact, like Higgins, when he had a lot of other drops join him in the bucket, could make a bigger impact. So if we all come together as a community, we can make a difference, because one of us, just one of us doing something makes a difference, right? But what if we all work towards something together? Maybe it's care of community and support of one another through sharing of joys and concerns, providing visits or check-ins or cards or text to our beloveds in our community. Perhaps it is going out for a protest. Not everybody can go out to a protest, or not every single time, especially in the heat. Or maybe we're traveling or different things are going on. But others write postcards or call our representatives or go to town hall type events and try to hold our officials accountable. And we can make ripples that justice roll down like mighty water. But it's not just that justice activity that I want us to think about. This water, more than anything, represents how you not just care and nurture one another in this community, but how it represents our values. As Unitarian Universalists, our values and principles guide us, but not just here within these walls, out in the world. I hope that you carry some of our values into how you engage with others, because we make ripples. If you look at the surface of this water, it's fairly smooth. But if I drop a stone into the water, it creates bubbles. It creates ripples that expand out, breaking that surface tension. And when that happens, it allows us to make those ripples out into the wider world. Each stone that is added adds to that. Now, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to make a big mess, but if I were to dump a bunch of these rocks into the bowl at one time, it might make a bigger splash, right? It might make a bigger impact. And so too, we as a community make that larger impact on the world around us and with one another. Each week when we share our joys and concerns is just one small part of being community. Sometimes it's circle dinners. And I heard someone's hosting extra circle dinners so that we have enough for everybody to participate in. We have ways of engaging, whether it's bringing a friend with you to service on a particular week, whether it's making a phone call, letting someone know that you care and that you're there. Maybe it's showing up at the social action meeting after service or the Indivisible meeting here later today. Maybe it's making that donation to the solar. And not just that we're going to have solar, but that we can be a resiliency hub. So when things happen, like Elaine, we have a space that people could come and have electricity to recharge and somewhere safe to rest with that. Now, I also also want to lift up how that community works in ways. Sometimes we know how we impact others, right? Somebody will tell us thank you, or this really touched me in a way that like I want you to know about. But sometimes we don't ever know. Because after Helene, I put a call out to you all to check in and see how you were, or to let you know we weren't having church service thanks to help of Kathy, who had internet. I did not. But as we sent those messages out, I also asked you to help by donating blankets and coats to those in Western North Carolina that needed them. And y'all exceeded my expectations for the 2-day turnaround that was offered. My Hyundai Ioniq was packed to the gills. I could see out the windows, but the back one not so much. Thankfully, I have a backup camera. But your generosity in a time of need and your response so rapidly. Some things were gently used from your own home. Some were purchases that could be sent. And others were handmade. I think I got a bag full from Petra that was handmade that went out. And I won't know who got those items. Never know. They don't know who we are. We didn't say with a big sign, hey, these came from UUFC. Instead, we gave them knowing that it was part of our values to support and care for others, even if we never met them, even if we didn't agree with what they believe. We knew they needed help, and we reached out. We created those ripples and broke the surface tension so that we could send that representation of us out into the world. And I hope that we can continue to carry that knowledge that when we leave this place, we don't leave this community behind, but that we carry it with us in all that we do, in all of the places that we show up. May it be so. May we make it so. And blessed be. And now for our closing hymn, we're only going to do the first 3 verses for Peace Like a River, number 100 in the gray hymnal, and it'll be on the screens as well. And with that peace, that love, that joy in our souls, may we go forth in peace and return in love.
Thank you, Cory.